Okay, here's another synthetic from start to finish. Turn your paper over or something, get a nice clean spot to work, clear your mind. All right, where should that -8 go? In that little box. Okay, go ahead and copy that onto your paper. Then, what numbers should I put to the right of the little box? 2 and good. Then one of the hardest things to remember on synthetic is how do I start? Drop the 2. And then I can start my multiply and then add thing. Okay, so 2 times what? -8 makes -16. Then add these two, and what do I get? -6. -6 times -8 makes what? -48. Oh, wait, +48. And that's so close, but not close enough. Final answer is there is a remainder of 2. And therefore, synthetic tells me it's not a root. All right. This one, I'll tell you ahead of time, is going to work. The last one didn't work, but this one will work. If you do it right, you'll end up with a 0 remainder. So go for it. See if you can do it all by yourself. Okay, so I got the problem all copied down right here now. Drop the 3 to start with. 3 times -2 makes -6. 4 and -6 makes -2. -2 times the -2 up here makes +4. Add these together, get +1. 1 times the -2 makes -2. Add these together, get -1. -1 times -2 makes +2. I told you it would equal 0. Raise your hand if you got it to equal 0. Good. Now here is the hard part. This is so much faster. You're going to love this, but you need to understand one more thing. This was a root of -2, which meant the factor would have been x plus 2. You get that? Then what's the other factor? The other factor is down here. And I'll show you how to interpret this, and I bet you'll catch on to it fairly quick. This is a -1 in my factor. This is a plus 1x. This is a -2x squared. And this, you want to take a guess? 3x to the third. That's right. So that means this times this gives me that. And again, the way I did that was this n number, not the remainder. That's separate. This last number right here, that number is a whole number, and every number after that is either an x or an x squared or an x to the third or x to the fourth, etc. And just as long division can sometimes get a little screwy when you have weird situations, don't even do this one, just look at it. What's weird about this problem? It's the same thing that was weird about the other problem. Missing an x to the fourth, yes. So you have to, on the other one you didn't have to have a placeholder, but I said you could. On this, you have to have a placeholder or it'll mess up your whole answer. And a lot of kids forgot right away when they started their homework, and they didn't notice that one of them has a placeholder missing. In this spot right here, I should put a 0x to the fourth, because isn't 0x to the fourth going to be 0 anyway? So it doesn't change anything. I'm just putting in a 0x to the fourth there to hold a place. And then I write the problem 3, and then 1x to the fifth, 0x to the fourths, -11x to the thirds, 5, 8, -15. All right? Try, now that you know this placeholder has to be in there, try that one. See if it comes out to either a 0 at the end or not. And that'll tell you whether or not x equals 3 is a solution or a root of that. I'll pause while you do that. Okay, here's a speed version of the answer. Drop the 1 down. 1 times 3 is 3. 0 plus 3 makes 3. 3 times 3 makes 9. -2. -2 times 3 is -6. That's -1. -1 times 3 is -3. That makes 5. 5 times 3 is 15, and that's +15, and it worked. I get 0. Okay, now here's the harder part. Can you interpret your answer? What were the two factors? Well, this one's easy. What was the factor for that? X minus 3. Okay. This one is a little harder to interpret, but see if you can do it. Try it. I'll tell you if you're right. I should be recording this. And then for this negative 2, I have negative 2 what? X squareds. And then for the 3, I have positive 3 x cubed. And for the front one, I'm not going to put the 1. It's just 1x to the 4th. All right, so this times this makes that. Raise your hand if you think you understand this. Okay, good. Then your homework for today is simply to finish the packet. It's got some tricky ones in it. The last, like 4 or 5 problems, there aren't many problems. And the reason is because the last 4 or 5 questions say you have to do synthetic and long division for each problem. So each problem can be set up both ways. You have to do the long division and the synthetic. Now you do have about 20 minutes in class here, so plus some time at home. Don't forget to do both methods. We are going to grade this tomorrow.